What it is, YouTube, what's happening? This is your boy Ronnie, aka Mr. Deathcon 3000, bringing you this commentary, Karma Part 2. I've got a lot of suggestions on me doing another part to it. People wanted to see it. I got some great positive feedback from it. So here we are doing Karma Part 2. First out, I'm not going to do a shout out for this person because by any means he does not need a shout out from me. I'm way smaller than he is. And I just want to say, you know who you are. I appreciate your advice on my channel. I just want to leave it at that. This guy has like well over 2,000 subs, and he gets that many views per video. To me, that's somebody successful on YouTube. You have bigger commentators that have 50, 60,000 subs, but only get 1,000 or 2,000 views per video, but they're more well known. But this guy gives me great advice, and sometimes you got to take stuff with a grain of salt. And man, I appreciate you. I know you're here to help my channel and help me grow, and I appreciate it. So let's leave it at that. So Karma Part 2, where did we leave at? I think we left off at, we were still in car stereos, and we decided to go steal some more car stereos. We got out to steal more car stereos, right? And it was like 1 or 2 in the morning. So my boy, aka John Doe, he's like, hey, let's get back out at 1:30 in the morning, and we're going to ride out and go steal more car stereos. So here we go on our next adventure. It's like 1:30 a.m. in the morning. Now, let me first start out by saying, of course, that is stupid if you look at it. It's 1:32 in the morning. I think it was a weekend night, if I remember correctly. And that is when cops are out looking for people, leaving bars, drinking and driving and whatnot. So we get out, and we decide to start hitting people's houses up, right? And we start hitting houses up, man. We're hitting everything from Corvettes to, you know, mediocre cars that look like they have potential, that had potential car stereos that, you know, we could steal out of the car. So we go good for pretty much the first hour, and we start going down this one-way street. And I'm going to get to the point of how we got caught and how I caught the Class D and Class C felonies that I had. But we started going down this one-way street, right? My boy, a.k.a. John Doe, is sitting in the passenger seat. He's like, hey, he's like, see that car up there? It's a Maxima. It's really nice. It has rims on it, tinted windows. He's like, there's our car that's going to have some payoff in it. You know, some nice speakers, CD player, and whatnot. So I pull up next to this car, right? And my boy, he jumps out, and he puts the screwdriver in the window, and he busts the window, and he starts trying to get the CD player out. So he's pulling real hard on the CD player, and he jumps in the car all of a sudden. He's like, dude, he's like, I cannot get the CD player out of the car. He's like, it is bolted in or something. So I was like, fuck it. So we leave, right? We head down this one-way street, and my dumbass makes a complete circle around the block, and I come back to this car. I'm like, I want to try it. So we go around this block, like I said, and we come down this one-way street. Now, this one-way street has cars parked on the right-hand side of the street. And, of course, it's a one-way street. So there's not a very, you know, big part where you can drive down next to the cars that are parked on the right-hand side of the street. So I pull back up to this Maxima, right? I hop out the car. I'm like, I'm going to pull this motherfucker out. I take my screwdriver. I fucking bust the dash. Try everything. Well, finally I realized the CD player is bolted in. Well, all of a sudden my friend yells. He's like, get back in the fucking car. There's somebody coming quick. I turn around and I run towards the car. Now, we're only probably about 15, 20 foot, you know, behind this car parked on this one-way street. Here comes this big-ass SUV. He's probably going to 75, 80 miles an hour. He's racing down this one-way street. I'm like, oh, shit. Well, by the time I get in my driver's side of my car and I sit down, this SUV is right next to me on this one-way street. He put up right next to me. He's like, what are you doing? Breaking into my homie's car? You know, I'm going to beat your ass, blah, blah. Well, you know, I'm freaked out. So the first thing I do, I have this little Honda Prelude. I throw it in reverse, and I stomp on the gas, and I just start flying backwards, just like a bat out of hell. Well, of course, the guy, I guess it was his boy's car that I was breaking into, his friend, he jumps in his SUV and he starts going in reverse too. He's determined to catch me. And as he's going in reverse and I'm going in reverse, and now keep in mind he's in front of me on this one-way street, he starts to whip around. Well, when he starts to whip around, I guess to get forward, that way he could catch up to me a lot quicker. I decide that I'm going to throw my car, 5-speed Prelude, I'm going to throw it in first gear and I'm going to go forward because he's whipping around. I'm like, here's my chance. I could take off forward, leave him behind, and not get caught. Well, when I do that, I throw it into first and I take off, and now he's whipping around, this SUV. He floors it and he hammers my driver's side door. I'm stuck in the car now. Well, the first thing my so-called friend, John Doe, aka, he jumps out of the car and runs. I'm like, what the fuck? So I'm stuck in this car. He has rammed my driver's side door and I cannot get out. My friend, John Doe, aka my best friend, he's jumped out of the passenger side and ran as fast as he could and ran away. The biggest black dude I've ever seen in my life got out of the SUV, got out of the back of the SUV along with his friend, that I guess apparently knew the guy. But this guy was like 300 pounds, and I'm not talking fat 300 pounds, I'm talking muscle. I was like, holy fuck. He gets out, he has a gun. I thought I was gonna die. So they come around to the passenger side of the car, him and his friends, and they pull me out of the car. Now, I'm not saying I didn't deserve any of this, because what I was doing, I deserve all of it, but thank God I didn't get killed that night. But they pulled me out of the passenger side. Well, he pulls me all the way down the street. He's holding me by my neck, this big dude. Probably in the... later on, I heard he was in the Marines or some shit like that. But anyways, he takes me all the way down to his friend's house. And his friend is in with his wife. They're standing in the yard by this time. And they proceed to beat me up. I'm trying to fight back, but there's no way I could fight back. They kick me, they throw me on the ground, they start kicking me. Apparently they had already called the police because the police were on their way. So the police eventually show up and I get arrested and I go to jail. So me going to jail is a completely different story, but I'm going to tell you what is crazy about all this. The car that we broke into, I had written a bad check to buy some tires for my car. I didn't know it was a bad check at the time, but I did write a bad check. They have this thing where I'm from. It's called Crossroads. It's kind of like, minor probation for misdemeanors. You got to go in there and pay your bad checks off or whatnot. Well, the lady that I had been seeing for 6 months, that was her car. I had no idea. She worked in the court system, and that was my probation officer that I had been seeing for 6 months. I had no idea that it was my probation officer. And that's kind of what I'm getting to, as far as this story as karma. But it even gets better because later on, in part 3 of Karma, I'm fixing to get to the conclusion of this story. I hope you guys come back for more. I had to split this up in 3 parts because it's so long. Make sure you rate, comment, subscribe. Thanks for all your support. Peace out. What's up, subscribers? If you missed part 1 of the Karma commentary gameplay that I did, make sure you click the video up above, rate, comment, subscribe, and I appreciate it. Peace out.